Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Johnny TCG video. I'm Johnny TCG. I'm excited to see you here today. Shout out to all the yellow Bonney players in the chat. I am so happy with how this leader's feeling right now in OP13. I know she's not top tier meta, but when it comes to off meta leaders, I just think she's really strong and has a really unique leader ability. If you've missed my previous yellow Bonney video, you're definitely going to want to check that out. I did a deep deck profile and had a lot of games on the sim to go with it. So if you want to hear about all the cards in this list, take a look at that video. Now I did change a couple cards in this list since the last time I played this leader. Right now I've made a couple crucial changes and I'm really liking the list now, even better than I did before, and I already liked the list before. The first of the two big changes I made were first the 3 cost 4000 power Jewelry Bonney from OP08. She is 1k counter and then has the ability of Don times 1 your turn. When your opponent takes a life, then you get to draw 2, trash 1, which is just really strong and really good, especially for a deck like Jewelry Bonney, which I feel like doesn't have great card draw. There's a couple searchers, but there's no like sustained card draw throughout the game. So getting this extra card draw, drawing 2, being able to cycle is just really strong. I'm only running 3 of her, but if you told me you bumped her up to 4, I wouldn't call you crazy. I took out the Onamis to make room for her, and I have not regretted that at all. And then another card I want to shout out is the 8 cost 9000 power Eustace Captain Kidd. This is from OP10, has the on playability of you may rest this character and then trash the top card of your opponent's life. Then he also has the another ability is if your opponent has 2 life cards or less, you then get to draw 1, trash 1 at the end of your turn. That is really solid, especially late in the game when certain cards are really just so situationally valuable. I don't even know if situationally is a word, but yes, this is a great ability. This is a great card. I'm only running him at 2 because he doesn't have trigger. He's not searchable by any means, but I do think he is relevant late game, especially if we don't see the 9 cost Jewelry Bonney. If we don't see this card, that can get rough. So this is another great option for us to play late game, maybe even bump this up to 3 as well. There's a couple cards in this list that maybe we can take out. I don't know, there's still always work to be done, but so far this list is feeling so strong. Today I've got some OP13 matchups I'm so excited to share with you today, but before we do that, I do have a giveaway for you. If you're new to the channel, we do giveaways in just about every single video. Today I'm going to be giving away a custom Don card using art from the One Piece Treasure Cruise game. This is Halloween inspired art. I know we're a couple days past Halloween, but I think this Don looks really cool. It's a couple different characters in Halloween outfits, Halloween costumes. How can you hate that, folks? All you have to do to enter the giveaway is 1, leave a like, and 2, leave a comment. It's as simple as that. Then if this video gets 20 likes in the first 24 hours, I'll randomly choose a US-based commenter and send it to you completely free. All you have to do is 1, leave a like, and 2, leave a comment. It's as simple as that. I am not the artist. I'm not selling this. This is just a fun personal fan project of mine. So if you want to enter, all you got to do is 1, leave a like, and 2, leave a comment. And if you want to make my day, if you want to make me smile, consider hitting that subscribe button. We are almost at 5,000. Kind of. Getting to 5,000 by the end of the year is my goal. So if you want to make that goal possible, if you want to make me so happy, consider hitting that subscribe button down below. That's all, folks. All right, editor, roll the gameplay. Our first game of the day is going to be against a Goldie Roger, a matchup that I'm not super confident about. Goldie Roger, when they become a 7,000 power leader, is just so strong. Even though we have our leader ability that allows us to swing for 7,000 on most turns, they've got some big bodies that are really hard to deal with. We are going to be on the odd curve, nothing to play turn 1. On turn 2, we do have that Jewelry Bonney from OP08 that I just recently included in the deck. We're going to use leader ability to give her 2 Don, and then we're going to swing 5,000 with our leader. If they take this, we'll be able to do a card cycle with our Jewelry Bonney character's ability. They will, and that's great news for us. Roger usually takes these lives early, but with our Jewelry Bonney on the field, maybe that's not such a good idea. They're going to swing 6,000 at us. We get the Lilith trigger. Things are really going our way so far. Off the Lilith trigger, I'm thinking we take the 5 cost Boa. That seems like the right play to me. Being able to freeze their leader or one of their characters is so strong, and we're going to be able to play that off a Stussy if we find one. They'll play out a Douglas Bullet, they're able to ramp, and then they'll pass it to us. We are going to use Nami to pop that Douglas Bullet right away. Douglas Bullet doesn't seem menacing at first, but I really get annoyed by Douglas Bullet. Such an annoying character, especially when it's swinging for 6,000 the next turn or a couple turns later. Just hard to get rid of. We are going to swing with our leader. They take that as well, which surprises me a little bit. We get to use the Jewelry Bonney ability to draw 2, trash 1. They'll counter out of that 6,000 power Jewelry Bonney swing, and then I'll pass it to them. They're going to swing 6,000 with their leader here into our 4,000 power Jewelry Bonney character, and I'm going to be a little bit crazy and counter out of this. I just want to keep up the pressure. I like that Jewelry Bonney ability, so yeah, tell me if I was crazy for doing that, folks, but I think it was definitely a good idea on my part to do so. They're going to play another Douglas Bullet down and pass it to us. We are going to go with the 5-cost Boa Hancock play. We will trash a 2k counter Frankie from our hand, which does feel a little bit bad, but I think it's worth it to prevent their leader from swinging next turn. I'll use my leader ability to give 2 Rested Dawn to our Jewelry Bonney character. Then I'm just going to swing 5,000 with our Nami character. They'll 1k counter out of that. Now 6,000 with our Jewelry Bonney. They'll 2k counter out of that. And now 7,000 with our leader. Do they want to give me 2 more cards from hand? They do not. They're going to take that, and that Jewelry Bonney character ability does cycle. We'll draw 2, and then we'll trash the Kikinojo. Not going to need that right now. I don't think. At least next turn we can go with the Eustace Captain Kidd or the 9-cost Jewelry Bonney. Probably the Eustace Captain Kidd, though. We'll see. They have 9 down to work with here. The 8-cost promo Roger would be very strong. Or the Silver's Rayleigh from OP13. That's going to be very strong as well. They're finally going to clear my 4-cost or 3-cost Jewelry Bonney. I'm going to let that go. 9,000 now with their Rayleigh into our Boa. We are going to counter out of that. I really want to keep that Boa alive so we can pressure their life next turn. Having such a small hand size does feel sketchy though. 9 Dawn, we are going to use our Eustace Captain Kidd. We're going to trash the top part of their life, and it was a Goldie Roger promo. That is amazing for us. Now I just have to decide how I want to math my swings. Now they are a 7,000 power base right now, so I can't even swing with my 5-cost Nami. I'm debating on whether I wanted to swing 8,000 with Boa into their leader, or I'm going to do 6,000 with our leader into the Douglas Bullet. They are going to let that go, which is good news for us. Debating on whether or not I should turn this Boa sideways. I will, just to pressure them. 7,000 into 7,000. I'm not expecting them to take this, and they don't. I just wanted to get counter out of hand because next turn when I play the 9-cost Jewelry Bonney, most likely they're going to have to add that top card of their life to their hand anyway. So I'm actually happy they didn't take that life. For 6 Dawn, they're going to play down Scopper Gabon. They're able to draw 2 and then they have to trash 1. That's not really a big threat for me right now. I definitely think I prefer seeing that than a 8-cost promo Roger or a 9-cost Newgate. They're going to swing into my Eustace Captain Kidd with their Rayleigh, and unfortunately I have to let it go. Now they swing into our leader. I'll take this and we get the S-Snake trigger, but that's not really relevant this turn. So we are just going to keep that in our hand. And now I have a decision to make. I could play out the 7-cost Stussy blocker along with the S-Snake. I don't think that's a bad idea at all. But then also I could just play down the 9-cost Jewelry Bonney and really pressure their life or try to get that Rayleigh off the board. I might just try to test them a little bit. Swing 8,000 with our Boa into their life. They are going to 2k counter out of that. And I am going to go with the 9-cost Bonney here, but let me know in the comments down below if you disagree with that. If you think I should have went with the Stussy and the S-Snake, I would love to hear your opinion on that. We're going to swing 7,000 now with our leader into their life. They'll 2k counter out of that. And now 10,000 into their leader. They will have the counter event and then another counter event to get out of that. The question is, are they going to try to pressure my life right here, or are they going to go for board? If they go for board, depending on the numbers they swing with, it could be a little awkward for us. They're just going to go into our life, 7,000 into 5,000. I'm going to activate the Satori trigger, and I think that was a bad play, folks. Now I'm realizing that the numbers, I don't have a lot of counter in hand, depending on how they break this up, depending on what cards they have. This is not my best idea to have taken that swing or use that Satori trigger, because after all, it is a 2k counter. They're going to swing for 7,000 here with their leader, and we are able to 2k counter out of that. But if they had another Silver's Rayleigh, things could have really been awkward. I had one more 1,000 power counter in my hand, and yeah, they concede. GG's, they didn't have the answer at the end. If I took that 7,000 power swing, they were going to be able to play the 10-cost Shanks and absolutely win the game. So GG's, that was a close one. I almost fumbled it at the end. Our next game is going to be against a Black Emu. This should be a tough matchup. I have been struggling, to be honest, against Emus, so we'll see what happens though. We are going to be on the odd curve. We're going to start out right away with a Lilith Searcher. Off of Lilith, I'm going to go with the Kikinojo just because I know Emu tends to pop characters, and then if they pop the Kikinojo, we will be able to heal a life, ideally, if we can get them down to 3 life, which I think we will be able to do relatively easily. The Nami is also strong, but they have a lot of characters with the ability of, if they have a certain amount of cards in trash, they can't be removed from the field by effects, so the Nami might not be relevant in this matchup. They're going to do some searching here, finding the 5 Elders, finding Saturn, then doing leader shenanigans. Oh my god, folks, it's already beginning. It's hard to keep up. We are at 3 Dawn, no good 3 Dawn play. I'm debating on whether or not to swing 5,000 twice or to just swing 8,000 once. I'm just going to swing 8,000 once. I really want to get them down to 3 life so that we can play out that Kikunojo and get the ability. They are going to take that 8,000 power swing into their life. Makes sense to me. 5,000 into our life. We will take that. We get the Jewelry Bonney trigger from OP08. We are going to use that. We get to do a draw 2, trash 1. We draw the Stussy and the S-Snake. I'm going to trash the S-Snake. I don't think that's going to have a lot of relevance in this matchup. A good card, don't get me wrong, but I don't think we need it. Using the Empty Throne, they're able to play out Saturn, and then off of Saturn, they draw the Peter. Very strong cards, folks. They are going to then use Leader ability, trash a card from their hand, draw a card. They leave it Don up for that counter event, I assume. We're going to play out the Kikunojo and then swing 8,000 into their life. Flame Split doesn't really do anything for us here, so we are just going to swing 8,000 into their life. They do have that counter event, and they will use it, getting up to 9,000 power, and then we will just pass it to them. 6 Don for them to work with here, but with that stage on the field, it can often feel like they're using more than just the Don that they have on their field. They're going to start off right away with the 6,000 power swing from Saturn. We are going to take that. Unfortunately, we get the Nami trigger, and that does not work right now because they have too many cards in their trash, so their characters are immune from effects. At least Saturn is right now. They're going to swing 6,000 with their leader. We'll 2k counter out of that. I want to keep my life a little bit healthy. And then they're going to play out St. Marcus Mars, KO the Kikunojo, which allows us to heal a life, which is good news. But of course, that Kikunojo would have applied a lot of good pressure, so it's a bummer to see it go. At least we got to heal. 7 Don for us to work with, and this is going to be an easy decision. We're going to play out the Stussy. We're going to play out the Boa off of the Stussy. Using Boa's ability, we'll trash the Nami and then prevent their leader. I think preventing their leader is our best bet from attacking next turn. And then I'll give 2 Rested Don to my leader. We're going to swing 7,000 into their life, just ignoring that Saturn. Maybe I should have cleared that Saturn. Let me know in the comments down below if you think I should have, but I'm trying to get them down as little as possible and as quickly as possible so I can finish off this game ASAP. If you let the game go too long, one thing I find is that they just start doing the 10 cost Elders cycle, and it's just really hard to beat them at that point. They're going to start off with a search, find the Marcus Mars. They'll give a Don to Saturn and then swing into our leader. Maybe I should have tried to get rid of that Saturn instead of swinging into their life. 6,000 at us. I lean towards taking this, but then I decide I might as well free block with Stussy, and then if they want to throw a bunch of Don on their Mars, so be it. We'll deal with that if they decide to do it. I do have a little bit of counter in my hand, not a lot. They only swing 7,000 at it, and so I am going to 2k counter to keep the Stussy alive. 4 Don left for them to work with. This Stussy should survive another turn. They're going to have another Mars, and then they're going to be able to pop the Boa. I feel like if they did not pop the Boa, this game would be in such my favor right now, but popping that Boa just feels so bad. I'm going to start off swinging 5,000 with our leader into their Saturn just to try to clear the board a little bit. Maybe I should have gone into their life, and then I'm thinking we go with the Eustace Captain Kid here just to establish that big body. We could also go with the Stussy play and cheat out another Boa. That doesn't feel like a bad idea, but I think we should just be aggressive, and yeah, I think the Eustace Captain Kid's a good way to do it. We'll swing 8,000 with the Stussy. They will have the counter event to get out of that. Then with 8 Don left, we'll play down Eustace Captain Kid, use his ability to rest him, trash the top card of their life. We get to do a card cycle off of Eustace Captain Kid. I'll trash the Flame Split. We did draw a Satori 2k counter, which is great news for us. I'm feeling a little bit nervous now that they're at 10 Don, though, and they're about to do some shenanigans. They're going to start off with a 5,000 power swing, which we will take. Didn't want to get rid of my 2k counter in my hand just yet. I want to keep my bodies on the board if they decide to swing big into them. They now have 19 cards in trash, so their leader is plus 1,000 power on their turn. That is a little bit scary. They're going to cheat out the Nusturo. Oh my god, folks, some of these names, some of these pronunciations. They're going to swing 7,000 into our Stussy. This I'm going to let go instead of countering out because I don't want to use my last counter to save it, but man, did that feel bad. I really wish I could have saved that. Now they're going to swing 10,000 with their leader into our Eustace Captain Kid. I'm happy I didn't use my counter because now I was able to save the Eustace Captain Kid. That is great news for us. Here, I have a couple different options. I could go with the Stussy play and play out Boa, or I could play out the 9-cost Jewelry Bonney and just be really aggressive. I can hypothetically go for game here. There are scenarios in which going for game does lead me to victory, but I also wonder if I should swing into that Noose Juro and try to get that off the board. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to swing 8,000 into it with our leader. They will use the counter event to save it. Now a 9,000 power swing with Use This Captain Kid. I imagine this gets it off the board. No way they're going to counter with all those cards in hand. They'll block it, so that makes sense. And then we'll swing with Jewelry Bonney to get rid of it. Now the fact that they can bring like all those cards back with their ability of the 10 cost does make it like less impactful, and maybe I should have just swung life there. Let me know in the comments if I should have swung life. I'll definitely hear you out. We do have another Jewelry Bonney in our hand though, so the fact that we would put them down to 0 isn't as big of a deal, I don't think, because this Jewelry Bonney will force them to take the top card of their life anyway. They're going to have the 10 cost combo, cheating out 5 bodies. Boy, that is so strong. They're going to still have 6 Don to work with this turn, which is pretty crazy. I'm in for a rough one, folks. They're going to swing a big 10,000. Are they going to swing 10,000? Are they going to swing more than that? They're going to swing 10,000 into Use This Captain Kid. I will be able to 2K counter out of both of that swing. I have 2 2Ks in my hand. Now they're going to swing 9,000 into 7,000 because it's now 7,000 power because of that ability. And unfortunately, we have to let it go. If we were able to save it, I think we just win the game, folks. But alas, we were not. We're going to play down our other 9-cost Jewelry Bonney in our hand and then just try to go for game. It's going to be tough, though. They do have blockers on the field, so let's see if they're bricked in hand. We're going to swing 8,000. They're going to have 1 2K. They're going to have another 2K. Now, they do have blockers to get out of this. They're going to block out of that first Jewelry Bonney character swing, then they'll block out of the second one, and I think this is going to be where the game just gets out of our reach, folks. I don't even think we played this that badly, but just the fact that when Emu gets to late game, they're able to pull off this 10-cost combo, it's just crazy. Maybe I should have just pressured life more, not worried about the Saturn and the other characters they had on board. I definitely think that's the case, so that's a learning experience, folks. They're going to start off with an 8,000 power swing into one of our 9-cost Bonnies. They can minus Bonney by 2,000 power. I can save this with the only counter card in my hand. I don't know if it's worth it, though. They might be able to cheat out another one of these Noose Juros and then swing again. The fact that all of their characters are now 7,000 power base, ooh, this is not looking good for us, folks. I'll let it go. Now they can swing 7,000 with their Peter. We are going to take that. We get the Frankie trigger, but unfortunately, it only allows us to play it out if we're at 1 life or less. If we were able to play it out, that could be huge for us, folks, because at this point in the game, I think it's just going to come down to the amount of swings we can get at them, because they can just play out those blockers again and again. We get the Lilith trigger this time. We'll take the 9-cost Jewelry Bonney, but I'm not sure how much that'll really save us. They've got another 10-cost Elders. They're going to do this shenanigans again. A Norse Juro, a Saturn, a Mercury, a Peter, a Mars. Oh my god, folks. Just another full board. They got blockers again. Oh my god. I think at this point it's safe for me to wave the white flag, but we'll play this out. With Norse Juro, they're going to swing 8,000 into our Jewelry Bonney character and minus her by 2,000 power. We'll 2K counter out of that. They'll swing another 8,000 with Emu into Jewelry Bonney, and I'll 2K counter out of that. But unfortunately, unless they really don't have counter in their hand, I think we just lose this one. We fought valiantly, and I'm trying to think, is there any way we can math this out? I don't really think so. I think we just got to go for it. I'm going to play down a 9-cost Jewelry Bonney, give 2 Don to my leader with leader ability, swing 8,000. This would have to hit for us to win, and alas, it does not. They have the counter event. Now we'll swing 10 with one of our Jewelry Bonney characters. I'll swing 10 with the other, and then I'll pass to them. I mean, at this point, a conceit would be perfectly fine. They're going to swing with Noose Juro. We take that. We've got no counter in our hand besides now a 1K, and we take that as well. We lose. GG's. Ladies and gentlemen, those are the games I got for you today. Emu is rough, folks. Emu is just such a strong leader. Emu is gatekeeping so many decks from the meta, just because if you can't beat that, if you can't beat Red Blue Ace, or you can't beat Zoro, then what the heck, why are you even playing it? Those decks are so strong, and it really feels like they're just dominating. Yellow Bonney outside of maybe those matchups, though, is so strong and really being slept on. I really do believe that. Let me know if you've enjoyed this video in the comments down below. I always appreciate your feedback. I always appreciate hearing from you. Then, if you haven't subscribed already, what the heck are you doing? You made it this far in the video. You're still listening to me, yeah, but you're not subscribed. What the heck is up with that? With that being said, folks, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. This has been a Johnny TCG video. Peace.